Welcome to Nachsimanim. I'm Jacob Thomas, and today we'll be learning melachim aleph, perek Yud Gimel. We begin this perek where Yeravam is standing right next to his mizbeach to burn incense to Avodah Zarah. And this unnamed man of God, this random Ish Elohim, he arrives from Yehuda, and God commands him to go to Yeravam. And he cries out against this altar, prophesizing that there will be a descendant of David named Yoshiyahu who will rise up and destroy all these Avodah Zarah shrines, the idolatrous shrines, burn them and burn the bones of the false priests upon it. And the king from this is incredibly mad. And he points out his hand from the altar and shouts, "Seize him." But all of a sudden, his hand withers, dries up, and he cannot move. He's stuck in place. And then we also have the miracle of the altar being destroyed. Now, the king offers, after this whole event, and after his hand is able to move again, he offers the Navi to eat with him. But the Navi says, "I am not able to eat anything because God has commanded me not to eat anything in this place because this place is worthless. I cannot get any benefit from this place." Now, an old local prophet living in Beit El hears of this, and he intercepts the Ish Elohim on his way home, and he claims that an angel of God told him that he's actually supposed to drink and eat bread at his house. Now, the prophet drinks him, believes the lie, and goes to his house. During this time, the spirit of prophecy overtakes the old man and announces that because the prophet, the real prophet, disobeyed Hashem's direct command, his body will not reach the burial place of his fathers. He will die on his travels home. And as he's traveling back, a young lion meets him and kills him. And to show the miracle that this is from God, the lion remains again near the body and leaves the donkey that the Ish Elohim was riding on, untouched. And the old prophet retrieves him and buries him, announcing to his sons that this is such a sad tragedy, and he wishes to be buried with the Ish Elohim. This fake prophet tried to get this man killed in order so he could be buried with him, because the prophecy before was their bones are going to be destroyed. He does not want his bones to be destroyed. So if he's buried with a man who is holy, his bones will not be destroyed. As a recap, we have the altar that Yeravam is doing Avodah Zarah at, where the prophet from Yehuda comes and predicts the destruction of this altar. We have the sign of Yeravam's hand withering and the healing and the altar breaking in half. We have the deception of the old prophet who gets the Ish Elohim to eat food when he shouldn't have, as he told the king who also offered. And then we have the lion that kills the Ish Elohim, leading to the false prophet to bury the Ish Elohim and in his ancestral tomb. We are in perek Yud Gimel, so just like Zichru, we use a bar mitzvah boy because we become a bar mitzvah at the age of 13. Here's with the simon. The bar mitzvah prophet rebukes Yeravam's altar. This reminds us how in this perek we have the prophet who, probably a younger man, like a bar mitzvah boy, he goes to Yeravam, rebukes him, tells him what will happen to the prophet, to the altar. It destroys in half. His hand gets withered, Yeravam's hand, and then he announces to the king that he's not allowed to eat with anyone, then gets deceived by a fake prophet who then causes him to die and buries him in his own grave. One more time with the simon. The bar mitzvah prophet rebukes Yeravam's altar. We are going to now do a 4 perek back chazar, starting with perek tet. Hashem pours a pot of boiling tea as a warning to Shlomo. Perek tet, we use a teapot, and this perek reminds us how God makes a covenant with Shlomo, that if he follows in God's path, he will be with him, but if not, there will be consequences and the Beis Hamikdash will be destroyed. Perek Yud, in which we use a minyan of Yidden. The queen is amazed by the minyan of Yidden that built the Beis Hamikdash. This reminds us how in this perek we have the queen of Sheba who comes and sees the glory of Shlomo's palace, is surprised, brings tribute, and creates an alliance with Shlomo. And we also have a description of different aspects of Shlomo's kingdom. Now, perek Yud Aleph, in which we use stars to remind us of the 11 stars in Yosef's dream. The king's many wives give him shiny stars to distract him from his work. This reminds us, so in this perek, we have the many wives of Shlomo who lead him to go away from God later in his life, go to idolatry, a spiritual decline, and a prophecy of the splitting of the kingdom. Now perek Yud Bet, in which we use 12 brothers. 10 of the 12 brothers leave their father. This reminds us how in this perek we have Rechavam, who gets anointed. We also have the prophecy from last perek of the splitting of the kingdom going to Yeravam. And Rechavam is anointed, and the people ask him to lower taxes. He doesn't, leading the splitting of the kingdom, where Yeravam takes over the 10 northern tribes. We're now going to do a 10 question pop quiz on the Sfarim we've learned. In which perek does Shlomo list thousands of proverbs and songs while mastering encyclopedic botanical knowledge? Melachim aleph perek gimel. In which perek does King David have his final charge on his deathbed and tell Shlomo to be strong and keep the Torah? Melachim aleph perek bet. In which perek is the Beis Hamikdash constructed in silence and uses stones completely pre-cut at the quarry? Melachim aleph perek vav. In which perek does David compose the famous lamentation upon learning the deaths of Shaul and Yonatan? Melachim Shmuel bet perek aleph. In which perek does Amnon act bedridden to draw his sister to commit a crime? Shmuel bet perek Yud Gimel. In which perek does Ritzma bat Aya spread a sackcloth on a rock to protect her children's remains from predators for months? Shmuel bet perek Chaf Aleph. In which perek does Yeravam's outstretched hand wither instantly on the altar and the stone structure splits open? Melachim Aleph perek Yud Gimel. In which perek does a young prophet from Judah is slain by a lion on his way home due to a deception? Melachim aleph perek Yud Gimel. Shmuel aleph bonus question. In which perek does Shmuel visit the household of Yishai in Beit Lechem to secretly anoint David? Shmuel aleph perek Tet Zayin. In which perek does Shimshon tie torches to the tails of 300 foxes to incinerate Plishtim crops? Shoftim perek Tet Vav. That is it for today. May we be zocheh to finish all of Nach, one perek at a time. And remember, day after day, have a wonderful day.